Welcome back to Solo in Seattle, the podcast where we explore what it means to create a life you love, one brave step at a time. Today's guest is someone who truly embodies the spirit of building community and stepping into her own power, my girl, Laura. Laura is the founder of Shy Girl Co., a platform hosting networking events and workshops that encourage women to own their space. She also created Level Up Latinas, a powerful movement dedicated to fostering connection and growth within the Latina community. And through Allura Digital, she captures stories of empowerment through her lens. From navigating a new city to building her identity across three incredible brands, Laura is proof that shy girls and anyone stepping into a new chapter can change the world. Let's dive in. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm so happy to finally be here with you.
I know. I love that you made time and space with all of your traveling and booked and busy schedule that you decided to let me into a slice of your world and your boss babe energy and come hang out to record my podcast for me.
Yes, we need to feed off of each other. Sometimes I photosynthesize off of your boss girl energy too.
That's right. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I love that you and I have been able to kind of build a solid core relationship just over the past couple of months. I don't even remember when we actually met, not for the first time, but just in general. But it was almost like an instant
Virtually.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, virtually. I remember reaching out to you in January, I think towards the end or middle, I don't recall.
Mhm.
But I had seen your profile actually, and I was super, super invested because I had just moved to Seattle and I hadn't met many people, but I like my partner, my fiance, he was working during the daytime. At nighttime, of course, we're tired and we wait until the weekend, but I still wanted to do things and explore. So you were a big like inspiration that I was like following already. And then I got the idea to be like, hey, maybe, just maybe she might see this message and be interested in coming into my event. And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I reached out and the rest was history.
Yeah, I was so oh my gosh, I just was so blown away by the generosity, and I was like, "Are you sure, like, you're on the right profile?" I was so confused because I the way that I post and the way that I live is authentically me, you know? And I do it just because I feel like I like to showcase where I go, what I'm doing by myself a lot of times. Of course, like, I've turned into this social butterfly to where I feel like I can go by myself, but I'm never alone. Yes, and it's been so wild how I show up somewhere and I could be in the most random of places and someone was like, "Amanda!" Yeah.
That's
Or
awesome though.
yeah, or they will hear my laugh, which is very distinctive, and they're like, "Is Amanda here?" It's just I don't know, it's just been so there's been so much love, how much the city has turned around and shown me so much love. I guess maybe because I poured love into the city and been a connector. I have no idea, but I'm grateful for everything that has come my way in this past year, even in these past couple of months. It's just been so beautiful. And so that kinda plays into the first question is, with your personal journey and figuring out your identity here in a new city, what was going through your mind when you first moved to a new city?
I immediately knew that I wanted to challenge myself to something new that I hadn't done in Colorado. Because I was moving from Denver area, Denver, Aurora, lived in Aurora, worked in Denver, and it was property management, pretty 9 to 5 in person, but sometimes 24-hour in regards to like the property management aspect. Like if someone has a flood or if there's like an emergency, oftentimes as like part of the management team, you also receive the call that the on-call maintenance manager receives. So after having left that world and having known that we need to move to this new city, it's so big. What are we going to do? We actually had no expectations, but I did know that I wanted to challenge myself to do instead of advise because I've always advised and told those around me, hey, I think this would be a pretty cool add on or thing or way to pivot for what you're doing it. Then they do it and then they keep coming back and asking it. Bummed out sometimes when it doesn't go my way because, of course, it's their idea and I wanted to change that. So coming to Seattle, it was almost like leveling myself up too.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, moving to a city, I did it 11 years ago, and I only knew one person, my childhood best friend, and she was in a
Oh,
relationship
wow.
at the time. Yeah, and I came to visit her one time, probably in the fall, I wanna say, and then 6 months later, I sold all my stuff and relocated with my son.
Wow. It must have left
Yeah.
such an impact on you.
I mean, I moved out here, I loved it so much, it was so fresh, so green, so beautiful, so clean, so rainy, I loved it. I loved everything, it was a polar opposite of my childhood, my growth, spurts, my life I was in, and I was just, "Nope, I'm outta here." And yeah, we moved out here 11 years ago, and I've never looked back, so it's been a true gem for sure. How did the shift in environment impact your identity or even your sense of self?
It is actually kind of funny that you said that you really love the weather and the gloominess and all of that because that was something really big that hit me during the time that I was working on myself in the winter because I moved here in April of 2024. And from April to, I want to say, the early fall, like just before the fall, it was a dream. I have never seen a city more in bloom, and it was where I got my ideas. It was where I was journaling. It was where I was letting myself be a little creative butterfly. However, after coming back from Europe, which I was there most of the fall, it was really, really gray. And all of that creativity and inspiration that I had been filled with and the journaling that I had done, the seasonal depression hit me and I began doubting everything that I had dreamed and planned of during that inspirational cocoon period that I gave myself. It was almost like the city's weather, like, helped my brain chemistry egg me on into crashing out, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of determination and becoming my own sunshine to be able to shift away from focusing on what was directly in front of me, literally and metaphorically, to focusing on the bigger picture and waiting until the next season and knowing that I can get to travel more, thankfully, because my fiance gets to travel with his work. And so I just gotta book a flight and go with him. His company takes care of the hotel. I get to enjoy my own childhood dream of traveling, getting to know more cultures, drawing inspiration from there for my own endeavors and projects and ideas. And this city, I don't think that I would have been able to go as far as I have gone, both physically and mentally, if it hadn't been for moving here.
Wow.
And if it hadn't been for that season of doubt that I had to go through and pain, because it was very like literally depressing and heart-wrenching to look and feel that all of the things that I knew I was very well capable of doing and presenting into the world and showcasing, like it might not happen because I was doubting in myself and didn't believe I could do it if people saw it.
Yeah, I mean, that is so true. I mean, depression is such a real thing. And, I went through such a hard season um, after just I'd accomplished the heights in my career. And you think, wow, you should celebrate yourself. You should be so happy. And I wasn't. And it was
Mm.
really hard. I mean, I had made the most money I'd ever made. I'd been at the height of my career. I'd gotten my master's degree. I had this what I thought at the time was a solid relationship. And I hated everything. I hated myself so much. And it was awful. And I went
So
camping for 4
sorry.
days. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I'm not there anymore, but I had went camping for 4 days recently, and I made a joke to my girlfriend who was friends with me during that season. I was like, "Damn, this reminds me when I was depressed." Literally not wanting to take care of myself for 4 days because when you're camping, obviously, you don't have the luxuries of a hotel.
Mhm.
No, and so I can make light of it, but the parallel of remembering I did not want to engage in my life, period, like nothing, I just wanted to decompensate essentially, and I had no reason to feel that way other than I just was with somebody who didn't love me the way that I needed to be loved, didn't pour into me the way that I needed to be poured into, and so I was always in survival mode, and then what's crazy, if you can believe this or not, Laura, is I didn't have friends.
Oh,
I rejected the thought of new. I rejected the thought of someone coming into my circle, my space, and only people that were my friends were people I worked with, and they were very surface, right? But
oh,
outside of that, it was just me, my ex, and my son in a bubble for like 9 years.
I cannot believe that or imagine that, but I'm so happy to know you now
Yeah.
and to see this and what you've done.
Yeah, it's
Dang.
crazy. I know, and so we have this tug of war in my life right now with the people who have known me for the past 11 years that are like, "Oh shit, you're wildin' right now. Like you are like going berserk, like drinking and kicking it and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "That's who I was before I moved here and essentially died."
You're like, "I'm reconnecting with myself, okay?"
Yeah, and then all my friends back home are like, "Yes, there she is." Like, yeah, all my friends who knew me before I moved to Seattle, they're like, "There she is. She fucking has finally arrived." Because they supported me being in this relationship because I literally made a testament to myself. I'm gonna find a guy that I never otherwise would have dated. I'm gonna be in a relationship with him. I'm going to not drink. I'm going to dedicate my life to being a mother, which I did always, obviously. I mean, he's 19, he didn't die, so we're good, you know, you know. I like, whatever, right? Whatever it means to people with this whole mothering situation, whatever, yeah? It all worked out, okay? And so anyways, like and so when people are seeing me now being my true social self, and it comes so natural to me. People are like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Girl, I woke up. Like, I came up out of this haze. I came up out of this self-hate." Like and so speaking of that, did you have a "this is who I am now" moment during your transition of moving out here?
I think I'm going through it right now, actually.
What?
Yes, I think that I had to go through that period of doubting everything that I knew I was very capable of out of fear of rejection of others' opinions, others who I don't even know if they exist or not, others who have no input in my life, like just fear of rejection.
Yeah.
And that I had to do a lot of inner work as far as going so far as even forgiving some of the childhood trauma that I had and the abuse that was done to me mentally and spiritually, the abuse, and me forgiving this abuse on those levels as well, and reaching out to that side of the family, not the abusers because they've passed away, like COVID. Thank you for doing that solid for me on one of them.
Girl, God's work.
God's plan. But seriously, I felt safe enough to reach out to my remaining family members to check in, make sure things were okay, and seek validation. And if they didn't give it to me, at least I knew that they were okay because I've lived this long without their validation anyway. It was more so to see if I could get that idyllic Hollywood closure concept that people want to have and sometimes don't get to have. And I was very fortunate enough to receive it and to get that confirmation that yes, I did receive this abuse from these people and that no, that stuff should not have happened at that age. And it was very impactful to me because I understood where my fears of rejection stemmed from, and I was able to bullet forward past them so fast. And once I was able to do that, I was able to zone in and focus on number one, what it is that I liked doing, because I also was laid off in January. And around the time that that I started doing this work was after I was laid off. So I had to figure out who I was because I used to say I am whatever my job is. And that is not a healthy way to live your life because corporate America can replace you in 2 seconds. You might affect their workflow for like a little bit, but in the big picture, you're replaceable always.
Girl, let me tell you something. You just spoke gospel because I just told my coworker who congratulated me on my most recent promotion. And I said, let me just remind you of something. First of all, thank you for congratulating me. I said, but everyone's replaceable.
Like the statistic that I was going to say that I was insane because I was young enough to be able to be laid off without me being able to seek legal repercussions, but I was the one team member in my actual direct team of 3 who had shown the most progress and growth and was the one that was actually ready for the promotion, but because one had long tenure and the other one had the age protection from, like, the federal age protection, whatever it is for older people,
Mhm.
I was the pick because I had the least experience in the industry, but I still had, like, the biggest growth path. So we're just
Interesting.
numbers. We're just
Yeah.
numbers.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you have to walk into that knowing that. I mean, for myself, I've been in my wheelhouse for 19 years. So, like there's nothing you can do to me at this point. If you fire me, thank you. Jokingly enough, I know that having conversations around this current administration is awful, and I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. However, when the current administration was like, "We're laying off certain bodies of workers," I was like, "Please give me my meal ticket." I'm sorry. I was like, "Pick me, pick me."
Well, I think that part of the layoff package, didn't it have, like, X amount of months of paid, like, guaranteed pay?
Sis, pick me.
That's what I'm saying, like, I would be okay
Yeah.
with that too.
Yeah, I was like, "Listen," because number 1, I have all of these years of service. I have 3 retirement systems vested at 19 years. Like, I am sitting on a gold mine right now. So, please give me my walking papers. Like, I'm like,
It's a
I
pink slip.
literally
Do you still call it a pink slip?
I don't know what it is called, but, like, if that were the case, I would oh my gosh, like, I would be so rich, like, for a second, and then I mean, I'd be obviously be depressed because like, "Oh my god, what else am I gonna do?" But then, of course, I would, like, foster my creativity and be able to just focus and pivot like you have. Jokingly, I'm saying, "Please let me go," or whatever. I mean, you can, like, honestly, like, I'm at a point in my life where, like, keep me or not, I don't like, I have other things to do. I lead without fear at this point in my
Like,
life.
you've
Yeah.
had enough life experience and security established under you that this is not a fear, and you're established in who you are that this isn't a fear, and it won't shake your ground and or your core, most
Yeah.
importantly.
Yeah, and before I lived my life with fear, and I was like, "No, I need this career. I need to stay working. I have to take care of my son. I have to do this. I have to do that." And you were just programmed to think that that's the only way that you can be successful. And I kid you not, when I started my first business in reselling, and then I moved into estate selling, then I moved into buying and flipping estates, you realize you're way more than that job title. And I would much rather prefer to dig in people's trash or discarded items than show up from 8 to 4:30 every day and rinse and repeat. But how do
Yes,
you
because you're digging through this trash for you.
Yes.
You're going to the 8 to 4 for them.
Yeah, exactly, or, like, showing up to my buddies who have collected along the ways events and supporting them,
Yeah.
and I genuinely just do it because I love and admire the grit and the hustle of the person doing it. There
Amazing.
and you can attest to that, I'm like, "I don't want anything, I just wanna show up, I just wanna you do my part, I just wanna hang out, and I wanna support you." Whether it's
Oh,
Yeah,
you're an
whether it's
angel for that.
whether it's me and you or I bring a handful of people, that's it, you know what I'm saying? And I always joke around every time I go to these networking events or do something in a public space, and I tell people, "If you have a small business and you need someone to attend or you need someone to support, send me the invite. I will come." And,
I love that.
yeah, and some of the business owners there, they're like, "No, she, like, literally will show up to every single one of your events." And they're like, "We're so grateful because we know if we invite Amanda, if she's not, sick or whatever, right? 99.9% of the time, I will travel, I will come, I will support, and I will stay the whole time."
This is fact. This is true, and I'm very grateful for you.
Yeah, of course. And so how do you define yourself today? Like, how has that changed over time? What do you think?
I love how it's changed over time, especially when I can lovingly look back and see the evolution and everything that needed to happen to be where I'm at. So I define myself today as intensely joyful. And
Mm.
joyful doesn't mean that I'm having a psychopath smile on my face all the time or that I'm giggling or happy. That's what happy is. That's why I said happy. But for me, joyful means that I'm at peace in my heart and my home and family are complete. Like I have my cats, I have my fiance. We talk about getting married, we talk about having kids. He supports me in every single crazy idea that I have for my business, for our home. I support him in anything that we need to do, whether it's move here or move back to Colorado, whatever it is, we just have such a wonderful partnership that I feel intensely joyful to be where I'm at in life. And I don't think that I would have this joy and value of the things around me like I do if I hadn't gone through all of the torment and hell that I had gone through from childhood all the way up until probably the point that he and I met, that I started deliberately taking steps towards ensuring my space and my peace isn't bothered when I have my family in my arms, which is him, my cat.
Girl, family is agitating as shit, let me tell you. I moved 2,200 miles away from everything and everyone that I knew because I needed that distance. I needed to physically get away. And it wasn't because whatever, I was a freaking people pleaser. And I just could not and would not change that. Somebody needed help. Somebody needed something. I was always there. I was always like overextending myself. And I was like, you know what? Nope. This needs to stop, you know? And anyways, and as time goes
But it's
by,
good to set those boundaries, and sometimes
yeah.
the only way that they understand that you're not like an Uber One or like a DoorDash or anything that is other than you and your own person that would love to show love by doing this once upon a time or like every so often, but not constantly. That's kind of disrespectful, and you have to prove your point by moving that far away. Otherwise, they won't get it,
Yeah,
and I
and
understand it.
yeah, you know, and for me, it was just kind of like obligations. Literally, like, any chance to celebrate something, literally every weekend was a party, you know? Everything
Oh,
was a
yeah.
celebration, and I mean, on the one hand, it was beautiful because everyone came together, everyone was always together, everyone and it was like a gifting culture too growing up. You have to bring a gift, you have to bring food, you have to eat all the food, and it was just all of these things, and yeah, and so it was just very, very just eye-opening because even when I was immersed in the family culture, like, I would always be separated. I never would join in, not because I didn't want to, but it was just kinda like I was always to myself, and I've always been that way my whole life. Even as social as I am now, you know, you'll still kinda see me kinda retreat and take a step back from the mix of things at times, but, you know, I mean, it's all about learning who you are as a person. So, how do you go about starting Shy Girl Co? What inspired that name?
So Shy Girl Co. actually stands for Shy Girl Collective. And Shy Girl Collective came from a shower thought because in the shower thought, I was just like, ooh, Shy Girl Shower Thoughts, a podcast. But then I
Eh?
was just like to myself, I don't want to record a podcast. That's too
Yeah.
much. So then I shelved that very far back. And I thought to myself, ooh, but I like this direction. Okay. And so I just looked up different synonyms for group, and I found a collective. And I really liked how Shy Girl Collective came together. And I wanted it to symbolize irony almost in a way, because I know that even when I started it, I myself was like at that point in the inception, I was not a shy girl. Like I have always been, not always, but like in recent time, I have been very outgoing, very, what's that word, extroverted. I have been determined, straightforward, and like I like that evolution of myself, but I used Shy Girl Collective as an homage to the time when I was not this and how it took me, what it took for me to get from being very socially awkward to where I struggled to make eye contact to being here right now where I'm just naturally charismatic, but it's because I'm not effing depressed, my friend. I was a socially awkward person because I was depressed for, like, most of my time, and that's where the shyness stemmed from.
Oh, for sure. But how did you turn your shyness into a strength?
I leaned into it. I asked myself questions. I didn't judge it, and I didn't have feelings about my feelings, and I allowed myself to slowly build up to being where I am, and I actually like that I remember the very first thing that I did on purpose to begin coming out of my shell. And I told myself, okay, leave a good impression with people. They like to feel good. So if you are one on one in a space with a person, like an elevator or in like an interaction, like at a grocery store, something like this, compliment them. Look for something that you want to say something nice about. So that way you look good and there's something to talk about for that small moment that you're having to interact with them instead of the heavy, lingering, awkward silence. And it's crazy that I told myself this without having read any self help books or any sales technique or charisma teaching you whatever, because there's actually a woman who is a professional, like, She calls herself a self-recovering awkward person. And
Uh,
this is, like, amazing because she actually goes around, like, giving people this advice. Number one way to begin breaking the ice in any context is to give them a compliment, and I was telling myself this probably, like, I wanna say minimum 4 years
mhm.
ago. And it works. It really works because then you feel good that the other person is happy with you out of the blue that you've let them leave that instance with a good feeling in them. So that actually was the first time I remembered, okay, I can turn this around. Like I can be a light. I can be I can be her. I could be the main
Yes.
character.
Yes, I like girl, we know I like a main character energy now. And so what advice would you give to someone who wants to show up but feels shy or awkward?
The best advice that I can give would be even if you don't wanna really talk or be a part of the conversation, no matter where you are sitting or standing, take up space. Don't hunch over, don't close your arms in front of you. If you need to go to the bathroom for a moment so that you can do like a rising sun stretch and puff your chest out privately for a moment, it's been proven that you can actually do that, and it'll help you feel a little bit more calm and relaxed and less tense or fight or flight or awkward or anxious in these settings. And you might be even a little bit more loose, whether it's because your muscles stretched or because it works
Yeah.
when walking in, and if you don't know how to join in on a talk and you're like, because this has happened to me before, like in a long table, let's say like at a work dinner and it's like a long table and you're like in the awkward middle seat where you're not really a part of this end table group or that end table group, but you can hover between both of them. Just like tune in, look between everyone, smile and nod, and make sure that you keep an open posture because eventually the conversation is going to end up turning to you because of eye contact.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what's been the most surprising reaction that you've had to a shy girl event or a workshop?
Reaction, I would have to say to my very first, ladies brunch, my event, I had a co-host and, her name was Barbara, and we were both guiding people on how to set intentional goals for 2025. And I gave a personal anecdote, and she gave a structured guideline on how to set like expansive goals, if you will.
Mhm.
And at the end, I was taking headshots of all of my guests as part of their tickets. My favorite thing that I have ever seen on the planet that let me know I was onto something or at least creating the right vibes was when I was taking headshots of a particular person, I would talk to them, compliment them, make jokes, make them giggle, make them laugh so I can get an honest laugh in the camera. But then my other guests, they weren't just talking to each other and ignoring what was happening. They were actually watching the entire photo shoot from start to finish of that person in
Aw.
front of them and everyone. And they were also catcalling them, calling them beautiful, suggesting how to pose. So it became such an empowering moment for every single woman because nobody felt self conscious. Everybody felt very secure in themselves and safe enough to take these pictures
Yeah.
because everyone had a good photo. Nobody had, like, an awkward or shy or stiff smile. Everyone was laughing. I actually even exceeded my time in the rental space and was charged a little bit extra, but I was okay with it because it was a good effing time.
Good. I love that. And I mean, I think it's so special that you were able to, bring it together and you were trying to empower someone and then they fed that energy to you too. Because you're trying to make this woman feel beautiful, confident, and show her true self and laughing and bringing out that pure joy to translate into a photograph. And then what happens is your girls are rallying around you and supporting you, which gives you that confidence and that step into your photography game that levels it up as well.
Yes, it really does.
Yep.
And when they feel comfortable, you can move them around, you can get creative and inspired, and they'll like it.
Yep. Oh, I just love that. I love that story. I love energy. Energy is my favorite. And I mean, it can be a rise and fall too. I mean, we all try to be our best selves. We all try to bring as much positivity as we can into the spaces that we're holding. But not everything is a good day, but somebody with some good ass energy can turn that around for sure. And or if you're just not feeling like your best self in the beginning of it, and you can just, I don't know, just somebody can just help out and say something so encouraging that you weren't even expecting, and boom. And then you remember who the heck you are and why you're here, and you step into your craft and everybody's having a good ass time. I love that. So, your most recent adventure that you have taken on and partnered with was Level Up Latinas.
Yes, it
So,
was.
yeah, so why was it important to you to create a space specifically for Latinas?
Because I viewed Shy Girl Collective as a social gathering space, free of competition, free of promotion. Like, the goal of Shy Girl Collective was to never network. But anytime that I've encountered a Latina, they're really trying to get after it. And they're always inspired, multi passionate, ready to hit the ground running in any and every direction. Knowing that we're such hard workers, and particularly an older generation of Latinos, my mom's generations, for example, they are such entrepreneurs, if not the entrepreneurs that inspired us to become as determined and visionary or vision filled as we are as Latino children. It's because we've seen our parents do it. And some families have had a situation upon them where some people don't have like a legal status to be able to work a 9 to 5 job and have benefits. And so when a need is there, creativity provides a solution. And I'm thinking that's why a lot of our Latino culture and immigrant people are entrepreneurs, are business owners. And you know what? They're successful. They know how to manage their time. They make their money. I love it. And I wanted to empower Latinas here locally because when I was creating Shy Girl, I was looking up communities to connect with and to see. And one of my interests was I want to see if there are other Latinas so that I can have my Spanish speaking community. We can go dancing, have a date night with our husbands, and literally like just like
Yeah.
vibe in our multiculturalness, because I really need to have culture. I just love multicultural people around me, and so
Girl, I feel that.
that was this origin. But I didn't find anything that was like to uplift Latinas that did something often or that did something to promote your own growth. And so I'm like, okay, fine, let's do it. Let's see
Yeah.
how we like it.
Yeah, I mean, I find it actually really interesting that you say that because when I think about my core group of girlfriends, they are all multiracial, multicultural, predominantly Hispanic. And what's interesting is I mean, I love culture. I love anything that has flavor, has spice, has any type of seasoning on it. I cannot stand a bland, boring, sterile environment, whatever that may look like for some people. What challenges have you faced in trying to uplift a community while navigating your own growth?
Understanding the community's need.
Mm,
Because you can be so inspired, so happy, so go-gettery, so this, that, and the third. But if you don't understand your community, you're gonna feel like a failure. And
girl.
yeah, you really need to. That's why I'm taking a really, really mindful pause on my events to assess whether or not I want to continue doing them under either name or if I'm going to pivot in the direction that I've been working at.
There you go. So, how do you balance honoring cultural roots while evolving into new spaces and roles? So, that was like a perfect transition.
Ha! I love it. So, I would say honoring the culture to me is just what are the roots of that culture? What are the people? What do you love? What warms your heart about that culture? And 9 out of 10 times, it's not gonna be like materialistic things or even something that you eat or drink. It's gonna be the way that you interacted with someone of this culture. And I want to make sure that in every interaction that I have with people, even if they catch me on a bad day, I can share and communicate and express my happiness to be around them and to see that they are well, my willingness to support and be there for a situation or need that they may have, and just my welcoming spirit of you are now in my village. I consider you in my village because I know you, I care about you. I will worry for you. I consider you my friend. And as my friend, you have my respect, so you can count on me. And for me to say that is I mean it. And it's so strange because people could say, "Yeah, I'm here for you," but like, will they be there for you to help you move?
Yeah.
I will. Like, that's the way that I position myself, and I have, and that's the way that I view honoring my culture, and I apply it to the types of vibes that I wanna create when I'm around my guests or even my clients when I'm meeting them for the first time, having a work session, or even telling them something stern that they may not like I had to do today. I had to sternly share, hey, we have a shared calendar. And when it's marked unavailable, it means that I am unavailable to perform duties during this time, as previously discussed. So it's just about making sure that you can honor the kindness, if you will. For me, the kindness from my Colombian culture.
Oh, I love that. And I love that connection that you are building, that olive branch that you are extending. Because it's so important because it is so easy to not be present. It is so easy to not, like the kids say, stand on business.
Yeah.
You can have all of these collectives, you can have all of these workshops, you can have all of these ideas, but if you are not representing yourself in a way that matches your autonomy and who you are as that representative, why do it? You know?
100%.
And you are creating a gathering space and a niche for what you need to have grow internally, externally, and fruitfully, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than collecting people who you think are there for you to turn things around and, make you feel a certain type of way or even become competition. And it's like, for what? There's no
Yeah.
for any of that. Like, people always ask me, and I think you have even asked me, "How can I help you? What can I do for you?" And I'm like, "I don't really have an idea." I literally I literally am like or, and you've been so generous and so kind to me as well, and you're like, "Let's do this." And I'm like, "I don't have a direction, girl. I don't know what to talk. I don't know what to tell you." You know? But if you give me your idea, I run all the way across the 50-yard line with it, and I don't know. You just pour into people, right? And I mean, the thing is I use a lot of discernment on who I decide to do business with, who I decide to have in my circles. And even if there are people that are in mutual circles, like I don't let relationships affect one another because I am a grown ass woman. And when you start doing businesses, not everyone's going to be for you in those businesses. And it's okay if you don't want to support me. Shit, it's okay if you don't even like me. I don't care. You don't have to show up. You don't have to be a part of it. And you really don't even have to give me any feedback, like if we're being completely honest. Can you share a proud moment from your Level Up Latinas event that still gives you chills?
I think the fact that I had a vendor there and a co-host, the vendor was able to make some sales. We had an after party to the event where we had coffee in the place next door and just chatted and and connected a little bit deeper outside of the constraints of like the event's theme and topic. I honestly, anytime the 3 times I've had my events, I'm always shocked and riding a high cloud for quite a few days over the fact that I even just did it. Like, I think that's always for me my biggest takeaway, my biggest win, because everything is just an experience. And I created a space, people came, people enjoyed it, they left inspired, they paid attention, they were leaning in to what was being said. I personally grew a little bit more from the space as well. And all of that together is just magnificent. I cannot compare that feeling to anything else that I have in my mind because that feeling actually happened. Anything else that I'm thinking of in my mind is a hypothetical that I haven't done yet.
Good. And so I really like that you did have that level of support and you had that aha moment. And had you already known this vendor in the past?
I actually had never met her in person. I had just met her on that day. I reached
Wow.
out to her because she came up as an advertisement on my Instagram as a Colombian designed jewelry store, but not like a proper store. She's like, so she doesn't have a storefront. That's what I mean by a proper store.
Mhm.
She has her pop-up setup and it's very, very beautifully designed when she has all of her necklaces and the earrings and the bracelets on display And her designs are beautiful because I really love statement pieces, but I
Yeah,
know some people who like timeless, simple, elegant pieces. And she has a beautiful combination of both of them. And so I reached out hoping to see if she would be interested in being a vendor there and supporting me. And she was like, "Yes, you can
love it.
count on me." So actually, I forgot, not forgot. Yes, I did forget. We did meet before this. We met for coffee at a French bakery, and so it was really great. We hit it off right away, actually.
Good. Well, I mean, meeting for coffee and, like, teasing out, like, personalities and vibes, right? Versus actually, like, meeting to do business and feeding off of each other's energy of that day is 2 totally different sessions, right? And so, let's talk a little bit about your photography and your empowerment. So, how did photography become a tool for empowerment in your work?
I am actually still discovering that because when I started my brands, it was originally going for events only. And those events would be the space where I could sell tickets that I would give photos for during the event. And I wanted to give myself that opportunity because I wasn't receiving opportunity from others. But then I slowly started getting more and more, I guess, foot traffic or interest in my photography and what I do. And then eventually I got one contract, and then I was able to find another contract. And I just came here from another contract. And it's working out fantastically because it's connecting me to myself. And so
Yeah.
to answer your question, I want to say it's a tool for empowerment for myself right now because it was my catalyst. The fact that nobody was giving me an opportunity to be a photographer in any context at all was astonishing to me. So I said, I am creating events so that I can be the photographer in those events. And I did.
Good. And so, is there a story behind one photo or shoot that sticks with you?
Yeah, the brunch with Shy Girl Collective's first event. I remember the hype and the feeling behind every smile. Every time I see it, I feel that same day happening over and over. And it just fills me with so much confidence in my own ability that sometimes I just look at them to feel happy.
And what does it feel like to capture someone's transformation, especially in like moments of confidence or vulnerability?
It feels like a eureka moment because it's almost like you, as an outsider, you knew that it was there. You could see it like a diamond in the rough. But the moment that it clicks and you could see it in their eyes that they see it, it's magnificent because they almost immediately start walking with more confidence
Good.
because they're that much more secure in themselves or that thing that they discovered.
I love that, and I don't think that I've actually ever had the opportunity to have, a photographer take my pictures professionally. And so I know that you and I have teased out so many ideas about getting out there, connecting, and doing it, and I don't know why I don't see it, you know? Um, but I'm sure eventually, like, I'll get over I'll get over my fear, I guess. I don't know what it is, right? But let's
I'll have something.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, and it's, like I am not estranged from those feelings. So let's talk about navigating business and life. So you're juggling multiple brands. What keeps you grounded?
My future husband,
Aw.
he he reminds me never to boil the whole ocean.
Oh my goodness. He's so smart.
He is, because he loves the fact that I can spit fire like a machine gun ideas and exponentially jump into the future from just the seed of an idea, but he wants me to make sure that I can reel in the excitement and imagination to the present day so that I can reach that goal in due
Hmm.
time
Oh
and
my
with
God.
his support.
I love love so much. I love love so much. Not for me, but for
Oh
like
my
everyone
gosh.
else. Well, my friendships and my love, that's how I manifest my love and I feel my completeness. Girl, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've been in a long-term relationship. I'm tired. Okay. Like I just want to be left. I want to be left alone. Like I've experienced the world. Okay. Now just leave me alone.
You're like, "I'm in a relationship with myself right now,
Yeah.
okay?"
I mean, solo in Seattle,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean, she is true to her brand, seriously. So, what role has community played in helping you stay consistent and confident?
It has helped me reassure my own core because it's very easy to be around many other people. And I think that you might know this as a fellow recovered people pleaser. And if you're around a lot of people all at once and you want to make a good impression, you might want to tweak and change and modify yourself, and
Mhm.
being a leader in community and hosting community events, like a leader inside of your community, and being around strangers might sometimes seduce someone to maybe shift who they are truly to match the vibe in that moment or the people in that moment. And the role of community has helped solidify who I am and what I do and don't like, and made me more confident in myself and
Good.
like myself even more.
Girl, good, because you gotta get to a place where no one can love you like you.
Yes, preach. I
And
love this quote.
yes, and I feel like I truly embody that. I was on a walk the other day with a friend of mine. She is a music artist, and she's extremely talented, and has one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. And she's just like, how do you balance all of this? How do you take care of all of this? How do you this? How do you that? Da 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 da. What about, being in the public eye? I said, girl, nobody can love me like me. That means no one can hurt me. Okay. No one can penetrate that bubble because I've built myself up to understanding that's not my problem. I'm not going to carry someone else's opinion that truly does not matter.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
There's just no point because, again, back in the day, I used to take everything on the chin, and I used to get so upset with when someone would say something to me and it was hurtful. But I also had this rough exterior where, like, it was the facade that you couldn't hurt me, but really you hurt my feelings. And now I will tell you, I don't like that. You hurt my feelings instead of internalizing it.
See, that's how it should be. It'll be healthy to create this conversation, and I like that.
Yeah, or depending on my mood, because I am a Gemini,
Hey,
I will be like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" Depending on which wave you catch.
I love
Like,
this.
I mean, historically, like, I'm not confrontational, but, I am assertive, and I do have strong ass
Yes.
boundaries, and I can look at you and be like, "Who," give you the "Who the F are you talking to?" face, like that quick little side.
You'll put it in subtitles.
Yeah, or the way I turn my head, it'll be abundantly clear. Like, I don't know which GPS sent you, but baby, you better reroute because it's not over here with me. Do not come over here with that bullshit. But anyways, yeah, what would you say to someone who feels like they have to have it all figured out before they start?
Starting is easy when you know your purpose. And so, for example, if you know that you want to do a series about, actually, this is an excellent example. I can use this example. So, my close friend Barbara, she is working on something called Confidence Code, and it's meant to teach kids and youths the importance of confidence and personal safety to prevent being trafficked or finding themselves in unsafe situations. And she has that as her goal and purpose. It is clear, it is defined, that is what she wants to do. But it was difficult for her to tackle social media and want to begin doing anything, wanting to start, because she needed to figure out the algorithm, figure out the trends, figure out the sounds, figure out the editing, all of these things. And it took her 1 year to figure out to just effing do it. Do you have an idea? Try it out. If it doesn't work, try another idea. Get feedback on yourself, but just do it. That you need to be clear on your purpose. Because when you're clear on your purpose, the inspiration and the ideas will come easily, but you need to have the purpose and that vision in your mind very clear.
It will all align, I assure
Yes.
you. So, speaking of, let's talk a little bit about legacy and reflection, right? So, what do you hope women, especially shy girls and Latinas, feel when they experience your work?
I want them to feel safe and inspired. Safe
I love that.
because they can be themselves, present exactly as they are without judgment, and inspired because feeling being in this way and seeing other women also being in this way and being admirable, hardworking, powerful women, they should be inspired to connect, talk, link up, and grow together. I have seen numbers exchanged in my events. I have seen them compliment and be like, wow, after your talk today, I am going to rethink my entire career and my school degree direction because you've just inspired me. Like I have heard that in my event and I'm shocked because that is exactly what it is I want them to leave with.
Good. I mean, you go into planning and organizing something and you leave feeling filled up, hopefully. And that you, even though it may not been the exact direction you might have wanted to go with it, it ended up being exactly what we all needed and didn't even know.
Yes.
I will say, like, we went to your what was it, the petals and thorns and petals?
Thorns and petals,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so we went into your Thorns and Petals event, and it was a quite an intimate event over there at Wood Coffee in Bellevue, and it was a full event. The whole table was booked. We sat very close proximity to each other, and we just created art, and we just created community, and it was just so beautiful. It was all these different women, different age groups that were sitting at the table, completely different walks of lives, different
Yes.
careers, but we all shared space and
And,
had that.
we've had a guided meditation too to
Yep,
try and find, like, your biggest, most happiest, and loved self, and to channel that into the arts and crafts that you are doing with these live flowers.
yep, exactly. So, last question. If you could go back and speak to yourself before the move and before the brands, what would you say?
I would say to not try to fit in and to keep chasing your dream because you're like right there. You're turning the corner. Like don't stop. Just keep pushing. It's like when you're working out and you need to do just one more a few times. That
Yep,
like that's what I would tell myself because just before moving, I was telling myself and my partner, I was just like, man, I really wish that I can have a networking community here. I really wish this. And then we found out we were moving to Seattle and he said, "Hey, this is your chance to actually do it. Go do it over there. You don't know anybody. Go try it.
yep,
Worst that can happen is that you still don't know anybody."
yeah, exactly. No, I feel like 100%. Like something for me, myself, if I could go back and speak to myself before I moved out here to Seattle, before I started social media, before I started networking, before I started believing in myself, stop going along with shit.
Mhm.
Do not say yes to everything. Do not be agreeable. Learn the power of no.
Wow.
Because until I learned the power of no, I just would stretch myself so thin. And although I am booked, I am busy, I do something almost every single day. It's my choice. It's not because I feel obligated. It's not because I feel like, oh, I can't tell somebody or a brand no. It's because I truly want to show up and participate. And I'm talking about relationships, friendships, business deals, sponsorships. Don't go along with it. If it does not fit you, if it does not fit your brand, if it does not fit your mindset, say no. Yeah, I have been able to move mountains with the power of no, which is really hard for people. All right, Laura. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share space with me, share your journey, share your ideas, helping out all the other shy girls out there, kind of fine tune where they're also at from your vantage point. And I just wanted to thank you for the inspiring conversation. You are definitely a true example of what happens when you lead with heart. You build your community and you trust your own growth. So, if Laura's story resonated with you, be sure to connect with her through Shy Girl Co., Level Up Latinas, Allura Digital. All of the links will be dropped in the show notes. And if you're stepping into your own season of change, remember, you're not alone. Your voice, your dreams, and your community matter more than you know. Thank you for being here today. And as always, keep going, keep growing, and keep doing it solo in Seattle or wherever your journey leads you.